These Gamegenic art sleeves are now my favorite card sleeves on the market, and in this video I'm going to talk about exactly why I love these sleeves so much, and the one thing I would like to see addressed in the future iterations. So let's jump into it. What's up everyone, it's Dan with MainDeck, and today I just wanted to do a little video talking about Gamegenic's art sleeves, and I think for a very good reason. Gamegenic has been working hard to improve these sleeves, and I think not a lot of people understand what goes on behind the scenes and how this company is continuing to sort of innovate and surpass the boundaries that a lot of other sleeve producers have not been able to pass so far. So let's step back a bit and just for a moment, let's talk about who Gamegenic is. Gamegenic is a company from Germany who is producing, manufacturing tons of card accessories for for any card game really, but they specifically work with Asmodee Games to produce some of these licensed goods, like for Star Wars Unlimited and Altered. These are some of the big ones that are currently getting Gamegenic special support. And I've done a previous video in the past looking at a lot of Star Wars accessories, and I've got another video in the future looking at a bunch of Gamegenic accessories for Altered as well. So stay tuned for that, or check the video out if you haven't seen that, where I talk about everything. But just specifically in this video, we're going to talk about the sleeves here. Now, a lot of people are very familiar with a lot of other sleeve companies and have a lot of go-tos. And for me, look, it's the same thing. I was using tons of other companies for years. I would go back and forth between different companies that I preferred. And art sleeves are the one thing that never, ever were done correctly. I say this as someone who, again, is a longtime veteran in the TCG industry. Most art sleeves are trash. The art sleeves that you get when you buy a Pokemon Elite Trainer box are terrible. The art sleeves that Bandai hands out to you at a tournament, they are garbage. They're like the same, actually, they're basically the same sleeves as the Pokemon ones. But there are some companies that are producing okay art sleeves out there, but now there is Gamegenic, who is honestly producing sleeves on the same quality as non-art sleeves, but they have the artwork on them. And honestly, in my opinion, these are a little better than most sleeves that you get, despite them having their artwork on them. So let's talk about why that is. Now, if you're looking for a detailed breakdown of the manufacturing process, obviously I don't know that, and that would be a trade secret that Gamegenic doesn't want to divulge, because they have produced some of the highest quality art sleeves on the market now. But the reason why I specifically prefer these sleeves is that Gamegenic sleeves, for me, combine what I feel is the perfect shuffle feel. And by that, I mean when I shuffle these cards, they have a very, very specific feel of a tension or a friction on them that makes them feel very good to push together. Some sleeves, they glide and they kind of slip out of your hands because they're a little too slick, and you'll set them down and they'll slide off. If you are a veteran of a number of TCG companies, you know which sleeves I'm talking about, that will slip as soon as you put them on in the freshly sleeved batch. But other ones will just push together and break. The current batch of art sleeves are honestly, the sleeves I'm shuffling right now, this deck of Kylo Ren sleeves, I have had this exact deck sleeved since the release of Shadows of the Galaxy for Star Wars a couple of months ago. I have played this nearly every single week at a tournament. I have not had one single sleeve break from this set, and not just this set. I have other sets of Star Wars Shadows of the Galaxy sleeves that have not broken at all. And I've used them in multiple tournaments, sealed decks, draft. I use them at Gen Con. I use them in other decks for other games here at home as well. And I have not had a single sleeve from the Shadows of the Galaxy art batch break. That is not something I can say for the Set 1 Spark of Rebellion sleeves. You can actually see this Luke sleeve I have right here is in fact a broken sleeve. You can see where the sleeve got pierced by another one, and now it is totally broken open and doesn't function anymore the way it needed to. So what happened between set 1 and 2? Well, again, I can't go to the details of it, but I can confirm while I was at Gen Con this year, I got to have a chat with an employee at Gamegenic, and this employee confirmed for me that in the batch that was used in Shadows of the Galaxy and the same batch being used in Altered is a different formula than what was used in the Spark of Rebellion art sleeves. Now, I had good things to say about these art sleeves initially, but a lot of them did end up breaking on me. I did have some trouble with the sets, but it has been far longer that I've been using these Shadows ones than the amount of time I was using the Spark ones when I did that review video, and I can confirm now that none of these have broken in the time that many had broken for Spark of Rebellion. The art sleeves for Altered, I have had the same experience so far. I don't have a sleeve deck with me, unfortunately. I just have these loose sleeves, but these have that same just slightly textured, slightly rough shuffle feel. But they, again, I've had no issues so far in any of my Altered decks with these breaking. In fact, I do have some early Gamegenic sleeves from Altered that I got back in January. Those were early sample ones. I assume they'd be using the same method that the Spark of Rebellion ones, same formula the Spark of Rebellion ones were using. And I have had some of those break. The new ones, not at all yet. So what the Gamegenic employee told me and what I have seen in my personal experience line up completely. These sleeves have been beautiful. They have not broken at all. You can even look here and see the amount of edge wear on these sleeves is basically non-existent. You can see on the corners. The corners, we have the slight whitening, okay? And at the end of the day, this is a plastic mix that at some point, you know, something's gonna give on it. It's not invincible. These aren't adamantium sleeves, but it's very, very, very minor compared to what you get with any other art sleeves on the market, and even any other, you know, other types of sleeves as well, non-art sleeves. I can't help but shuffle these things while I'm talking, by the way, but I've just been a huge fan of Gamegenic since they started producing all their lines of accessories that I think are really, really great. I enjoyed these art sleeves. I still like using Gamegenic Prime sleeves, but I have found myself, now that they have this new version, this new batch of art sleeves, the Shadows of the Galaxy and with Altered, these are, in my opinion, the best sleeves on the market. The price point is good, the artwork is gorgeous, the sleeve quality is incredible, they feel great, and these are not the anti-glare sleeves either. These are the ones, the regular fronts that are going to show that full foil, and you're not going to get any dulling or anything that you get when you do get the Prime series. Now, some people like that, some people don't. I got a lot of comments on the Gamegenic video I did before that people don't like the anti-glare feature of the Prime sleeves. The art sleeves are not that way at all. Another nice bonus is that the art sleeves now come with, for Star Wars at least, they come with 2 of their clear sleeves for both your leader and your base, which is really nice. I don't have my base here because I moved it to my really sweet Afra deck that I've been screwing around with a little bit, but they now come with 2 clear sleeves as well, which is perfect. Gamegenic just throwing that in, same price point, just to make sure that you can sleeve your deck properly, which is great because before I was having to grab another sleeve and slip it in to put my base on just so I didn't mix it in. So that is really cool. Now, what is the one thing that I think needs to be addressed in the next iteration of these art sleeves? So there, in my opinion, there's one flaw left on these right now to address. And if you have a really sharp eye, you can actually already see it on these Luke sleeves, but you have to have a sharp eye to see it, all right? So the issue with these is that there are coloration differences in them, very, very minor, but noticeable once you know what you're looking for. And I'm going to have you direct your attention towards the right side, this white bar, which turns pink on this one and yellow on this one, yellow and pink. It's pink on the bottom down here. It's a little more pink on some of them than others. It's got more yellow on this one and is pure white on this one, more or less. This white bar is showing some color inconsistency from sleeve to sleeve. And unfortunately, when I look at our Kylo Ren sleeves from set 2 here, you can see the exact same thing. Again, it might be a little tough to tell on the camera here, but this bar is a little more pink. This bar is a little more white or yellow, perhaps. There is just a very, very slight coloration difference in those white bars. I'm not even sure it's coming up on camera here. They may have improved this a little bit too, but I can notice it, especially on these two when I'm looking at it in person. I'm just trying to get it any closer to show that. It looks almost like there isn't one, but I think if you have sharp eyes, you can probably see it there. Or if you own some of these sleeves, go grab some yourself and just fan through them and see, because you will see a difference in those white bars. Now, I will say that I haven't been able to see anything like that on these altered sleeves, which have a different design. which is entirely art rather than having sort of this framing that the Shadows of the Galaxy ones have, but I haven't been able to notice coloration differences on these altered sleeves. So I would love to hear if anyone from Gamegenic is out there and knows if they have already addressed that in the altered batch. That's great. Otherwise, this is the last thing that I think needs to be addressed for these sleeves to be actually perfect, because I do think this is something that a very, very shady person could potentially try and get a small advantage in a game from, by being able to see kind of what's on top of their deck by noticing different colorations in card sleeves or something. Not something that you want to invite necessarily into the game, but something that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention just because I would love to see this addressed. Once this small issue is addressed, to me, these sleeves will be absolutely perfect, and I have no reason to use anything else other than thematics, basically. So that is really all I wanted to talk about in this video. I absolutely adore these sleeves. I think Gamegenics are the best feel sleeve on the market, and now these art sleeves are incredibly sturdy. They hold up to everything, and of course, look at the Kylo Ren artwork. Like, obviously, I obviously was going to have these things and use them. I'm so glad that I really love to use them as well, because they're just that good. My Star Wars Set 1 sleeves, I'm probably not going to use anymore just because the Set 2 ones are so much better. And this does apply not just to Kylo Ren. I want to be really clear. It applies to all of the Shadows of the Galaxy sleeves. That includes the green and yellow card back ones, Kylo Ren, Rey, Mandalorian, and Moff Gideon. And I'm going to assume then Set 3 and forward sleeves and all the future sleeves for Altered as well are going to feature this same high quality. So definitely check them out. If you haven't given these a try, if you've been afraid of art sleeves, don't be afraid anymore. Give them a shot. These new batches are great. Maybe not so sure if you'll enjoy the Spark of Rebellion ones as much, because again, I do have those break sometimes. They were pretty good, but these are incredible now. So that's what I wanted to talk about here. Let me know in the comments down below, what have your experiences been with Gamegenic sleeves and these new batch of art sleeves? Have you experienced how good these things are too? Or hey, am I wrong here? Maybe you had some break. How are you handling them? What's the difference? Let's talk about Gamegenic sleeves down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, found it a little bit informational. Like I said, stay tuned. We will have another video in the future going over all the other Gamegenic accessories from Altered. Definitely have to talk about that. But for now, that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.